It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTF, your radio station.
You're listening to City Beat. I'm Monika Gould, and joining me in studio is Mayor Dennis Fenske. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
If you have a question you'd like to ask the mayor, give us a call at 677-8181. What's been happening around the city?
Well, we just recently had a little bit of a snowfall, so we're doing some cleanup. So again, from a safety share perspective, be aware of the large equipment and the snow removal equipment, the signage, the blockades around town. We also are doing sanding. I've had some calls as to we haven't had a whole lot of snow. Why are we sanding? We do have priority 1, 2, and 3 routes, the emergency routes and that. And so we continue to sand those roads, even though we haven't got a lot of snow. We need to have those roads in shape for emergency and response vehicles.
All right. The Norplex pool has been closed for its second week now. What's going on with that?
Well, basically, unfortunately, we had the main pump give out on us. The facility was built in 1976, so the main circulation pump, unfortunately, has lasted as long as it did, but the main impeller gave out. We had to have one, and because it's an older pump, we had to have one rebuilt and had to source that out. So it's taken a little longer than anticipated, and so the pump is en route. Should be here if it isn't in the community already, and hopefully will be open in the near future.
A question a listener has asked was whether membership expiration dates would be extended because of this closure.
No, not at this time, not that I'm aware of. This is a maintenance issue. Unfortunately, it's gone on a little longer than we anticipated, but at this point, we haven't looked at those.
All right. The Vice President of Vale's Manitoba Operations, Lovro Pollock, has announced he is stepping away from his role here in Thompson to take on a new and quite exciting role for Vale in Indonesia. Can you comment on the news and maybe tell us if there's any way this might affect the city operations just because of the partnership between city and Vale?
Sure. Lovro, born and bred in Thompson, and Tony and their family have been living in Thompson, and Lovro has been the face of Vale for many, many years. First off, it's a promotion for him, and congratulations to both him and Tony for the work that they've done to this stage in their careers. In regards to going forward, Vale is looking to replace Lovro. There will be a Vice President of Manitoba Operations named in the near future. In regards to the impact on Thompson, minimally in the sense of from a business perspective, big loss from a community perspective in the perspective of losing a valued family from our community. But from a business perspective, no change in direction from Vale. The announcement in 2010 to close the smelter refinery and go to a mine mill operation at the end of 2018. That's still on track. And we are, as everyone knows, in the midst of a nickel price slump. We'll continue to try to strive through 2016 and hoping for a rebound there. But for impact on the city of Thompson from the announcement, there is no impact on the community of Thompson.
All right. During Tuesday's school board meeting, trustees voted in favor of supporting the city's potential amalgamation with the LGD of Mystery Lake. I'm sure this is welcome news from the city's perspective, but how are the talks and consultations going in regards to this potential amalgamation?
Yeah, this is one step in many steps in regards to looking at the amalgamation. We've had a consulting firm hired on contract and met with major stakeholders in the LGD in regards to the potential impact. They were given till the end of this month to respond back with their concerns or questions or support, and that's what the school district has done. Others that we've talked to is the NCN First Nation in Nelson House. We've talked to the Airport Authority. We've talked to other businesses in the community as well. And so this is one step, as I mentioned, in many that we evaluate and do our due diligence into. Is it the right thing to do for the city of Thompson to enlarge our city boundaries by amalgamating the LGD into the city boundaries? There's no decision made at this point. We're just collecting information to help us make that decision. There's no timeline in regards to the province of Manitoba in getting this done. We're going to do our due diligence, and at the end of the day, we may or may not amalgamate, depending on what the reports and the consultatives' work that's been done points us to.
So I guess if it were to happen, it would be too soon to predict when it would be completed?
Yes, absolutely. It's a long process. You're dealing with the province of Manitoba. You're dealing with a large landmass. There's a lot of steps to go through before there's actually a transfer of property.
Okay. Next Wednesday, the city is holding a public hearing to present a special service proposal. Can you explain what the city will be proposing?
Sure. On your tax bill, your annual tax bill in September, you've had a special levy for the last 3 years that pertains to, it's basically an insurance policy for the residential homeowners only. I should emphasize it's for residential homeowners only, no, not commercial. So in the case of a water break at your property that's beyond 1 meter from your foundation, so it's 1 meter to the city main. If there's a break in that line, currently the practice is to repair that line, do the alterations, and the homeowner does not get a bill. They don't get a bill because they've paid that special levy on their tax bill each September. So what's happened over the last 3 years, we put it in place for 3 years, it's now expired. So going forward for 2016, we'll look at the costs from 2012, 13, and 14 to give us an average cost of a dig. Right now we're thinking they're around $5,000. And so we have to recover those costs through the special levy. And so I believe the last 3 years it's been in the $90 range. And this time the recommendation I believe is to be in the 120 to 140 range. So I would encourage residential homeowners to come out to the meeting, ask your questions, and basically the simple of it is it's an insurance policy for residential homeowners that they don't have to pay for water breaks. In the city of Winnipeg, if you have a water break at your property beyond a meter, it may cost you anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000.
So this would it would apply to all residential homeowners, right?
Residential homeowners, yeah, not commercial, residential homeowners.
Okay,
yes.
And as you said at the hearing, residents can share their opinion?
Absolutely.
All right, quick reminder, if you're listening, give us a call at 677-8181 if you have a question for Mayor Fenske. Plans are underway for another homeless point-in-time count in Thompson. The first one was done last year. From the perspective of the city, how important are these counts?
These counts are very, very important, and it gives us a snapshot in time of the homeless situation in our community. We all know we have one, so let's not put a blind eye to that. We have taken steps in the last number of years to assist in reducing that. For instance, the Project Northern Doorway project with 95 Cree Road and other residences around the community. We've seen a drop in numbers at the homeless shelter, especially on the cold weather evenings. We've used the cold weather policy minimally because of the weather, but when we have used it, there hasn't been the numbers in the past couple of years that we've seen, and that tells us that they're either finding accommodation or there are less homeless. So this point in time count does a head count, and we'll compare it to previous numbers and see where we're going with that, and then adjust our strategies accordingly.
As I mentioned, last year was the first one ever done in Thompson, as far as I know. Has the data from that one been used in any specific way or towards any specific decisions the city has made in recent time?
Well, it supports what we did in regards to 95 Cree Road and supporting that project. It supports the CSO, the Community Safety Officer Program, and what that entails. And moving forward, we'll continue to use that data to formulate the strategies as we go forward in dealing with homeless in our community.
There's already a buzz about the upcoming provincial elections. They're slated for April 19th, so there's still quite some time before they actually happen. But what do you think will be some key issues for Northerners when it comes to these elections?
Well, I think from the north, no matter who's in the party in control of the province, for us, transportation is a huge issue. We've seen cuts in bus routes. We've seen cuts in flights. We've seen the conditions of the winter roads, although be it with the weather that was uncontrollable, but the fact that we're still using winter roads. We need hard serviced all season roads to our communities in our surrounding area, and so transportation definitely is a big issue from that perspective. Just sustainability in our region. We have 65,000 people in our community, in our region, that depend on services, health, education, government services, and so on. And so we want to ensure that those services are located in Thompson for the surrounding area to use. We don't want to see offices or people relocated to Winnipeg and using satellite services, satellite offices to service the north. We want people in the north on the ground so that they can deal with issues up front, and also they are contributing to the community as taxpayers, which we need every tax dollar we can to make sure that we're sustainable.
Are those some of the specific issues or concerns that the city has their eye on?
Absolutely. We've been lobbying the government the last number of years, and just that leads into one of the issues coming up this summer in regards to the census and how important it is for the census to be taken. We're having a meeting this week in regards to one of the organizers for the census and having difficulty getting people to get hired to take the census. So it's really important that we have those numbers so that when we go to the province and that grants are tied to per capita grants, we have the right numbers to ensure that we get the right funding to Thompson.
Okay. Something happening a little sooner than the elections is the Muzzle Cup. Tell us about this big Thompson hockey event.
Well, this is a great tradition in Thompson. It's one of the only Atom tournaments in Canada of this magnitude. It has a rich history from Donald Munn, the namesake of the Cup, teams from all over Manitoba and Saskatchewan, and lots of graduates from the Muzzle Cup, to name a few. Theo Fleury is one that comes to mind that played here when he was a kid, when he was in Russell, Manitoba, I believe. And so, yeah, it's a great tournament. Look for always support from the community. We have a great group of volunteers. It takes a lot of effort to put that tournament on. And at the end of the day, it's all about the kids having fun. And I believe that everyone has a great time and playing in a great facility. And we want to welcome everybody coming to Thompson to play in the Muzzle Cup.
For sure. And for those wondering, it's slated for February 12th to the 14th weekend. Before we wrap up, any last words?
A couple things. One, just a reminder for pet owners, cats and dogs, the license rebate or the discount, the $5 discount is up on the end of this month. So take advantage of that. And secondly, on a more somber note, I attended the vigil on Monday evening for the victims of the Laloche shootings, and I just want to express on behalf of the community our thoughts and prayers are with all those that were victims of the Laloche shooting and the community at large, that we are definitely have them in our hearts and thoughts at this time.
For sure. That'll end this edition of City Beat. Make sure to join us every Thursday at around 11:30 to find out what's happening around the city and City Hall. For 102.9 CHTM, I'm Monika Gould.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11.